Why are we looking at the recycling bin of our computers? Somebody empty out the trash.
Wow.
I can't even read.
All right, do the introduction. Hey guys, we're the CLG H1Z1 team. We're here to weigh in on what we feel about the other teams in the H1Z1 Pro League. Grimmy, what do you think about Alliance?
They're good.
Wait, didn't you solo wipe them?
Yeah. So
I seem to remember a 1v4 situation. I mean, they're all good players. I remember, like, kind of leading up to the Pro League, a lot of teams kind of thought that they were the underdogs, but
turns out
they're really good.
good.
They know what they're doing. They're confident. They know how to work together as a team.
Who'd you say
they're playing pretty well?
Their leader on that team is? If you guys had to choose somebody.
Mountain.
Mountain,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, I've heard Mountain is pretty legit.
Yeah,
Alright, so 1v4, how easy, 1 to 10, 10 being the easiest, was it to kill them?
I mean, probably like an 8.5 because most of them didn't shoot at me. They just ran into my shotgun.
Grimmy, what was your favorite part about getting the 1v4 on land?
Probably you. It was probably you hyping every kill, screaming.
So my prediction for Alliance by the end of the split, the end of the first split would be they finish around 7th or 8th.
I think they have what it takes to be a top 5 team.
Somewhere between 10 and 15th place.
They're definitely gonna be placed 9th.
My prediction for Alliance would be 10th through 15th as well.
I was thinking around 10th, so 10th through 15th, I guess.
Moving on to Cloud9. Now, I know some of the players of Cloud9 haven't been playing as much H1Z1 historically, but they've really been coming back and they've been doing a lot of practice. Also, they have some new people on their roster. They got Flowers and Imperial Hall kind of last minute.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think we
They're
really
carrying their team right now.
I think we should really talk about those two players in particular, Imperial Howe and Flowers. They came over from the that dream team, I guess you'd call
Unsigned
it.
talent.
Unsigned
Unsigned
talent,
talent.
right? And those guys were all really good players, but definitely Howe and Flowers stand out on that team for me. So
Yeah, they're backpacking those PUBG players.
Keepers.
It's going to take them a couple weeks to build up the type of bond that we have. And
Weeks.
yeah, a couple weeks, meaning
For
4
a
to
while.
8. By that time, you know,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna leave them in the dust. I mean,
I think a player we're not talking about here too is Adrian. I mean, he's an OG.
He's an OG.
He's had a lot of success. Like, he's one of those guys that I think could be a difference maker on that team too.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be somewhere in the middle of the pack as well. So I would say 6th place.
I was going to say the same thing. A solid 6th.
my prediction for Cloud9 coming into Season 1 is anywhere between 6th and 10th place.
I predict them being somewhere in the top 5 by the end of the season.
I think they'll be somewhere between 5th and 10th place.
I'm thinking around 8th, maybe.
I know Echo Fox has had a really strong start to the season. I know they have been working really well together in scrims. They've been doing well in land scrims as well.
Yeah.
So I think they definitely have the makings of a top 5 team for the Pro League.
I think the real question for Echo Fox is, can they manage all that skill and come together as a team? So sometimes when you have a lot of good players on one team,
They don't mesh well.
quite mesh well, and I think that's the biggest challenge for them. I think that's where we have an advantage as a team. That's where we really gel. So that's the big question for Echo Fox. They have a lot of individual talent, but I don't know how well they're working as a team quite yet.
I love pineapples.
That's a player, not the fruit.
The player and the fruit.
It's a team full of quarterbacks, and when you have a team full of quarterbacks, they tend to bump heads quite a bit. Echo Fox has gone through major roster renovations in the last few months, so it'd be interesting to see how they are able to manage all those egos into one team and get far enough to see if they'll be able to place in the top 5.
Well worded.
That was actually beautiful. You practice that?
My prediction for Echo Fox for split 1 would definitely be top 5 team for sure. So I'm going to say 3rd overall.
Yeah, my prediction for Echo Fox is top 5.
They'll have another roster by Season 2.
Whoa. I predict them being somewhere in the 6th to 8th by the end of the season.
My prediction for Echo Fox is top 5.
My prediction for Echo Fox would be like 4th, so top 5.
Epsilon Esports. This
All right.
A
This-
monster team.
this was an
Goddamn
underrated
Europeans.
team that a lot of teams didn't know about, but we knew about them because we know a lot of the players, and they've really come into the Pro League and done amazing so far, and I'm sure they're going to keep doing amazing.
So I'm a little bit familiar with some of the players on the team, especially Apex Shea. Him and I are really good friends, so I know the quality of player he is and the way he thinks the game. So with him and Melander, I think Melander's one of the big pieces to that team. He's their shot caller, and he's really knowledgeable around the game. So they do a lot of the little things right that other teams don't. So I feel like Epsilon is one of the most complete teams in the whole league. So with that being said, I think they're going to do really well.
Apex Shea is a beast too.
Yeah, I predict them easily top 3.
Yeah, I think top 3 as well.
I
Top
think,
3.
Yep, Epsilon top 3. Moving on to Gankstars. Now, Gankstars is a team that I don't know as much about personally. I've known they've had some hit or miss luck in scrims, and the first week of Pro League they didn't have a really strong showing, but the second week of Pro League they really came back and did really well.
Yeah.
So I think they're a team that if they pull together as a team and continue to show that consistency, they can do really well in Pro League.
I agree with that. I think they're a team that can go either way. Like they're a team that can show up one day and do really well, or the next day kind of have some consistency problems. So I think Gankstars are either going to be placed in the top 5 or really, really far down in the league. So it's going to be tough, but I would say they'd finish 10th to 15th overall.
Probably 9th by the end of the season.
I think Gankstars is definitely a wild card team, so it's kind of hard to accurately place them. But I think they'll probably end up somewhere between 8th to 12th place.
All right, guys, let's talk about Impact Gaming. These guys have shown that they can play. Like they're one of the underdog teams for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should give them more credit than what people are giving them because they show that they can play. They got a second the other day on LAN, and they probably should have won that game, but they've been playing pretty well. So
They got second with only 2 people alive from top 60.
That's lucky. We've been wiping them like every single time, so
5th to 9th place.
5th through 9th place.
I'm friends with all of them, so I want to be nice and give them like a top 5, but I think they're going to place somewhere 10 to 15th.
Your friends, huh? Jeez.
I think
Friends
Impact
like you,
Gaming.
who needs enemies?
Right?
I think Impact Gaming will probably place somewhere 5th to 9th. They might do better, but I feel like if they start losing, they're the type of team that might start falling apart a little bit.
Luminosity Gaming. Luminosity, they're a team that's already proven that they can have a bad week, and I mean the worst possible week you can have. 0 points in the first 2 games of the H1 Pro League. But they came back the very, very next Wednesday, and they got first place from there. They got a win, and they had good points in the other game as well.
Luminosity Gaming is a very good team. I know all of them personally. Very good H1Z1 players and very good group of guys in general. However, I do know that 2 of their important players are PUBG professional players, and I feel that will impact them in the long run. I'm going to place Luminosity Gaming somewhere between 6th and 10th place.
They have some Slayers on their team, like Sign and Rogue, and they have some smart players as well, so I think they could do well.
I'm going to predict LG probably like the 6th through 10th. I can see a top 5, but more like 6th through 10th for right now.
So I'm going to differ here, like from the rest of the team. Like I feel like they have a lot of really good individual players. They got put together kind of late compared to the other teams. Like I know they've shown it in the past, but their lineups changed quite a bit. I think they're going to be kind of middle of the pack-ish. I'm going to say like 9th or 10th. I just feel like they might not have as good of a season as you guys think. So
Noble Esports. What do you guys think?
They're solid. They're all right.
Yeah, they're a good team.
They've had their ups and downs, but that's H1Z1. I can definitely see Noble somewhere in the top 5 if they really just play how they've been playing and how I know they can play.
Yeah, if Noble continues to work well as a team, they can be a top 5 team this league.
I don't think Noble's as good as these guys think they are. I think they are kind of hyper aggressive sometimes.
When
So
they win big, but
Yeah.
they don't win very
I think
consistently.
consistency is going to be the big thing for this league, and I feel like they make a lot of questionable decisions sometimes. So I feel like maybe they get away with it before, but in this league where everyone's so good, I feel like they're going to get punished. I think they'll be like a 10th to 15th team.
Yeah, I agree with Causey.
Moving on to Obey Alliance. I know this is another team that has a lot of like individual, really strong players, and the big question is, can they bring those individual solo players together as a team?
They've had a bit of a rough start, and I know they've had some issues with their shot caller, kind of in between. Like he's in the military, I believe, and he's not always able to practice with the team, so I think they suffer a bit there. I feel like this is a team that'll get better as we go forward, but I feel like they're just too put together, too new put together, I guess the word I'm looking for. I don't know. They're just, I don't feel like they're going to be a top team just because they're not getting the right practice. So
Probably like 13th.
yeah, I'd say right at the bottom where they are right now.
They're very super aggressive early game, and from what we've seen, they've been losing a lot of players early game, which is not very good on getting points. So
Yeah, I think Obey has a lot of really good players, like well-known players in the community that are strong, but not having your shot caller most of the week and then questionable decision-making in game as a team, I think they're going to end up probably somewhere between 12th and 15th.
You guys are rough. Jeez.
I love you, Aladdin.
wait, we sit right next to them. They're gonna see this.
All right, going on to Team Rogue.
This is a pretty interesting team because they kind of switched their roster. I mean, they still got Stormin, but they I guess Riki was there for a minute there, but they kind of went all EU except for their late pickup with Huskers, and that wasn't by choice. I feel like this team lost. I'm not going to say Huskers is a big setback because he's not. He's a really good player, but Razar was probably arguably one of the best players in H1Z1 when he plays. So losing him is a big setback, but I still think they've got what it takes to be a top 5 team. They've been playing really well in all the scrims, all the practice games, and they're just a team you don't really want to fight. So
There are a lot of slayers on their team, and Huskers fits right in there. Like, he's always been just known as a slayer in the game. So I feel like Rogue is the type of team that even if they make questionable plays like COD rushing people, they have so much firepower that they're just going to do well, like, based on points.
My prediction for Rogue is top 5.
Also top 5.
1 to 6, I'd say.
Top 5.
My prediction for Rogue is top 5.
I'm going to have to agree with the boys. They're just a really strong team, so top 5.
Set to DestroyX. What do we think about this team? I know a lot of these players very well. They're all great players and they're good dudes.
I think they got significantly better.
I don't know what happened. They're like insanely good at being aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, they find little pockets to get
So
really good,
Prodigy.
clean wipes on teams.
So I think the big change in this team is the addition of Prodigy Aces. He's just been a really big component of the FA team, the free agent team that disbanded, and now they're all on separate teams. But Prodigy brings that aggression, that slayed out mentality. I think the guys are starting to get used to it. I think Set to Destroy is starting to play a lot better. And they also have, some other really good players on that team as well. And they had that feature on Benny Boy. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players in the game, one of the best shots. So with Benny Boy, Prodigy, Doug, Stomp, Anna, they've got a pretty solid roster. What do you guys say?
My prediction for Set to DestroyX for Season 1 of the H1 Pro League is top 5.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I'd put them somewhere in the top 3.
I place them somewhere between 4th and 7th place.
Yeah, at top 10, but probably on the lower side of the top 10, like closer to 5.
Probably between like 5th and 10th. I feel like as good as they are, they're still quite new, and I feel like they'll do better second split than first split.
Team Solo Mid. Dun dun dun.
This is a team CLG hates, right?
Who?
Yeah. My prediction for Team Solo Mid. My prediction for Team Solo Mid for the H1Z1 Pro League Season 1 is top 5 from the bottom.
Jesus.
Woo!
That's some fighting words, brother.
One of the things I was most surprised about was that TSM dropped Candyvan. Candyvan, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the game. Very knowledgeable, very level-headed. He can work well with a team, and he's very professional. So when I saw that they dropped him from the team, I was really surprised. Even though they picked up another one of the best players in the game, dropped. It seems really difficult to, seems strange to drop a player that you've been working with for a long time.
I feel like these guys are under the microscope big time. If they don't show up, they're feeling it. Like, I know they've had a slow start, kind of like us, but they're expected to win this league. It's like you watch all the content, you watch all the videos. Oh, who's the best team? TSM this, TSM that. They're not that much better than everybody else. Let's be honest about it. They're a good team, but they're not that much better than everybody else. So I feel like they're really feeling the pressure, and I feel like if these guys don't have a good couple weeks, things could go bad.
No, I love all the guys on TSM, but we're gonna take them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd put TSM in the top 5. I feel like even with a slow start, they're probably just gonna beat other teams by averaging higher scores in general.
I can see TSM as a top 5 team as well.
My prediction for TSM is a top 5 team. They just have an ability to pick up points week after week after week. And even if they don't have a good week, they're going to be able to come back and pick up more points the next week. Team Vitality. This is another really, really strong team. And a lot of known players on this team. We got Howie, we got Hurrah. Makes is one of the strongest players that I've seen solo as well. So they have a lot of raw talent on this team, and they seem to work really well together in scrims. I think they got a lot of potential, and I don't really see them like crumbling to the pressure or crumbling if they have a bad week. So my prediction for Team Vitality is top 6.
They've been playing the game for a very long time. However, they are coming from Europe, where time zones and just the way of life is a little bit different. I feel like if they can really adapt to a healthy lifestyle here in the States and focus on why they're here, I can see them being, somewhere between 5th and 8th place at the end of the season.
Probably 8th to 10th is what I'd put them at.
The way that they play in games sometimes ends up getting they end up getting caught on the edge of the map by other teams and losing players pretty early. But I also think that they have some solid games where they edge in and have 5 up at the end of the game. So I think they're going to be another middle of the pack team.
The lowest would be 8th, higher than that too, so top 8.
And last but not least, we got Tempo Storm. Danny Van is a good leader. He's a great player. And if he can work well with all of the other players on the team, then they have a great squad.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that whole team is just a pickup of different free agents because Candy Van got dropped from TSM. They picked him up. Moose played with Dramas and his team back before he started playing with Candy Van. Reptar played with Gankstars before they picked up, I think it was Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zach, I don't remember who he played with, but Rhino played with ID, which is now Impact Gaming. So that's a whole all new team together.
I think they're like one of those dark horse teams that can make some noise in the league. So I'm gonna place them. I'm gonna place them high. So I'd say top 6, top 7.
I'm going to throw my confidence behind Candy Van and say Tempo Storm can get top 3.
I see somewhere between 4th and 7th place.
With the addition of Candy Van, his knowledge on the game is crazy high, so I'd place him somewhere top 6.
I think they'll get a decent amount of points, and if Candy Van can keep his team in the right spots, then I think they're easily going to be a top 8 team, maybe better. Not sure.
Top 7, top 6, in my opinion.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for sitting through our video and hearing what we think about the H1Z1 teams this season. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below, and let us know where you think we'll finish in the H1Z1 Pro League. Thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you guys soon.
Let's go!
Oh no.
Oh my god.
That's too much.